So what is going on, everyone? Fernando Silva here with another video, and iPadOS 15 Beta 3 has been out for about 4 days now. Been using it over the weekend, and I kind of wanted to show you guys, some more new features that we did notice, especially universal control, because there's an inkling that universal control is a lot closer than we think, and that's a big deal with iPadOS. And then also talk about how it's been holding up, and then finally talk about battery performance and see if it's gotten any better, because as you guys have seen, I've been getting around 5.5 hours of screen on time, when this M1 iPad Pro should be getting me about 10 hours of screen on time. So without further ado, let's check it out. So let's hop right into this review, everybody. Like we mentioned before, if we go into the actual photo setting, then you know that we're at 1.42 gigabytes. I know in the last video I said 142 gigabytes, but it's actually 1.42 gigs. So give yourself about 3 gigabytes of space if you're going to update to this. But we already kind of discussed that in the last video. So today we're going to talk about some new features that we noticed with iPadOS 15 Beta 3. So real quick, we're going to go into the settings, we're going to go into the About, and we're going to go into the 15. You guys can see that we are on 19A5297E, which means we are getting closer to that RC edition or that release candidate edition or GM, Grandmaster, whatever Apple wants to call it nowadays. But I'm assuming we're going to get like 6 or 7 betas until September, probably mid to late September is when we'll get it released to the public. So if you guys want to jump into the developer program, there is a public developer program that is fully free if you guys want to try it out. Link down below. So the biggest feature that I saw is all about universal control. So this isn't going to let you use universal control quite yet, but if you go into settings, if you go into general, then go down to where it says AirPlay and handoff, right? Here it says it's automatically turned off. So here we have automatically AirPlay to TVs, which is automatic right here. And then you have a handoff. So it says right here, handoff lets you start something in one device and instantly pick it up on the other device using your iCloud account. So things like videos, anything like Apple TV, maybe some Apple Arcade games, basically things that allow you to start here and then end it basically on your iPhone or your Mac. But when you turn that on, we now get this new thing called cursor and keyboard. So here you can see that it says, allow your cursor and keyboard to be used by any nearby Mac signed into your iCloud account. So this is a brand new toggle, and I can confirm that it's not working quite yet. So I actually don't have macOS Monterey, or however you want to say Monterey Jack Cheese. So I don't have that update on my MacBook Air quite yet, but I'm going to wait until the public release for that one just to try it out. So for right now, it seems like we're getting closer, at least on the iPad side, to be able to be using that universal control that Apple teased with their keynote back in June, which is absolutely unreal. A couple other things that we did notice actually inside of the settings menu. So if you go into your settings, go into general, and if you go down here, especially if you are on the public beta or on the developer beta programs, you guys know that we have to install profiles. So normally the profiles used to sit down here, but now it's under VPN and device management. So here you can check out your VPN, and then you can see that I have my beta profile installed right here under the VPN and device management. So nothing crazy, it just moved where it was. And then underneath this same screen, another thing that I noticed was, if you look down here, before it used to say reset or restart your iPad or something like that along those lines, but now it says transfer or reset iPad. And if you click on here, you get a whole new screen, right? So here it says, prepare your new iPad, make sure everything you need is ready for the new iPad, even if you don't currently have enough iCloud storage to back it up. So you can press get started, press reset here, erase all content and settings. So now if you press reset, all the settings are now brought over here if you want to actually do it. I'm not going to do it because we don't want to reset my iPad quite yet, but you can see that now it allows you to not only reset it differently, but Apple is now letting you use up to X amount of iCloud storage for a certain amount of time. So I believe, let's say you only have 200 gigabytes of iCloud storage, but for some reason you have 500 gigabytes of stuff on your iPad, it'll let you transfer all of that data without needing to purchase more iCloud storage, and then gives you like 48 hours to actually dump it onto the new iPad. Whereas before you needed to buy or subscribe to as much iCloud storage as possible to get that done. So kudos to Apple for at least giving us some leeway when it comes to transferring files and apps and things like that. Another update that we got was actually inside of the Voice Memos app, which you were supposed to get a new splash screen, but I think I saw it already and it went away. But basically we were able to get some new things like being able to speed up, being able to edit from within the application, so being able to listen to things in like 1.25x speed. So if you go on here, you can do the playback speed up here, you can skip silences, you can go through enhanced recordings and things like that. So I think that Voice Memos is one of the most underrated apps that I've seen in a while, because a lot of the time I do use the Voice Memos app for a lot of voiceover things, right? I mean, maybe right now I'm not using it, but for some voiceovers that I've done in the past, I just use the Voice Memos app, go directly into the iPad Pro. Also, shameless plug, if you guys like these wallpapers, link down below if you guys want to pick it up. Best way to support the channel for sure. And then a few more things that I did want to mention. So if you go into the focus mode, hold down, and if you want to add a new focus mode, you can now get brought into this prompt. And a new focus mode that was added by default is this new mindfulness one. So basically, don't miss out, allow notifications from important people and apps, share your way, let others know when you're away and the status that you want to show when you're away. But basically, this is a new focus mode to let you, again, focus on your mental health and your mind and give yourself a break and things like that. So it probably just blocks out all social media and blocks out all apps like that would pretty much bring that mindset a little bit down. Another one that we noticed was inside of notes. If you go into the regular notes, you can see that you have a new quick notes setting or a quick notes option up here, so you can see all the different quick notes that we've taken, all the different links that we put into the quick notes and things like that. Also, shout out OriGrid if you guys want to pick one up. They're freaking awesome. I'll put a link in the description down below for one of these. I do have a discount code that they hooked us up with, so I'll hook you guys up with one of these because they're freaking awesome. They're cheap and they're well made. And then also, the first time that you open up Notes, you'll get a little Siri prompt up. This Siri prompt lets you know that you can use the Notes search bar to search for words inside of pictures and inside of documents and things like that, so you're not limited to only searching for text that you're actually writing yourself. So you're not limited to just the words that you typed out yourself inside of Notes. And a couple last things that I did want to show off is inside of Safari. So before, if you wanted to be inside of Safari and actually press the refresh button, you needed to have the magic trackpad and be able to hover over the URL bar. So now if you pull down, that's one way to refresh it, but now the refresh button comes up right here. So you can just press the refresh button. You no longer need to have an actual trackpad to get that option. And then also they brought back the share button, which for some reason Apple decided to take away or put it inside of these three dots, but now you have the ability to share as you normally would, just like before. That's pretty much it in terms of new actual features. Let's check out the battery performance real quick before I let everybody go. But if you go to battery, check on the battery performance. We're doing about, on the last 10 days, about 2 hours and 46 minutes of screen on time. Again, we're not getting a lot of use, especially on the weekends, but on a big day use like this one, 5 hours and 36 minutes of screen on time, and we went to about like 90% battery. So I guess you would get about 6.5 hours of screen on time on a day like this. So 2 hours and a half on YouTube, about an hour on 2K, about 41 minutes on LumaFusion, and then if we try this one out over here, 5 hours and 15 minutes of screen on time with about 90% battery as well. A day like this, 6 hours and 2 minutes of screen on time with less than 75% usage. So it all really depends on the applications you're using, how often you're using them, how much battery they're taking up, if it's a game, if it's something like editing, or if it's something just like viewing a YouTube video. So these are all ways that you can really hone in on what apps are taking up the most battery and which ones aren't, and get the best battery life possible. But let's get out of this view and go to the normal view. So that is pretty much going to do it for this video, everybody. Like you saw, there were some features that we missed out on the first go-around with iPadOS Beta 3. I think the big one, like I mentioned earlier, is going to be that universal control. So yes, we still can't physically use it, but now at least inside of the software, to the consumer, we can see that at least Apple's trying to bring it to life, right? Hopefully we're not going to get like an AirPower situation where they announce it and then it never actually comes out, but I'm hoping that by September we'll have this universal control, because it might take a little while to actually get out. Because remember, Sidecar, when it was first announced last year, it took a little while before it was out to the masses. Same thing with 13.4 cursor support. So every time Apple does something big with their software, yes, they announce it early, they hype it up, but then they usually wait for iterations of 15. So they'll probably wait till like 15.1 to really set out the universal control stuff. But that's just my 2 cents on it. But overall, we're making strides towards iPadOS 15 being the norm. From a bug and efficiency standpoint, there aren't that many things that are slowing me down. Yes, the battery life isn't amazing quite yet, but that's because I'm on the beta version. I use LumaFusion and NBA 2K. I leave the display usually always on, and I always leave it plugged in. So there's a lot of things that are working against me with battery. But outside of that, I think the beta program has been super stable, and for the most part, I would recommend it, right? If it's your main device and you do a lot of work on it, maybe hold off a little bit. But if you have a secondary device, or if your iPad Pro is your secondary device and you already have a Mac and an iPhone, then by all means, throw it on your iPad, see how it runs. Worst case scenario, you just clear it out and make sure you back up your device, and then you go back to 14.7. But that's going to do it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. Don't forget to check out channel sponsor Paperlike, check out Tiny Rigs, and also check out the wallpapers that we've been working on. Everything's going to be linked down in the description below. So like I said, that's going to do it for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Until next time, are you guys on the beta software? Are you waiting? Let me know in the comments below.